guys, it is me, Simone. In this video I'm going to start off my beginner crafting series. So I'm going to take suggestions for you guys on what you guys want to see me do if you're a beginner in crafting and you are trying to get some cool ideas of how to make beautiful projects or any kind of tips and advice that you need to stay on budget and if you're just starting out. So sorry about the weird angle. I told you guys I moved rooms and I still have not had time to set up and mount my thing to the wall yet, so it's going to be in this angle unless it looks okay if I rotate it. I might not rotate it, I might keep it like this. So this is the card that we're going to be making together and they look really cute. And I'm going to show you how to make this on a budget. So what you're going to need is you're going to need your cardstock base. I'm using Nina Exact Vellum Bristol board paper, like 65 pound, whatever paper works. Specific paper from Walmart, doesn't really matter. I have two different colors here. I have a gray color, I have a white, and these are just A2 size cards, but it's up to you. Then you're going to have a panel of watercolor paper that you're going to cut down to 4 by 5.5. If you're on a budget and you don't have like a big pad of watercolor paper, the watercolor paper I'm using, if you're so inclined to know, is actually from Dollar Tree. They have a whole collection of paint papers that you can use. So this is some oil paper, there's tracing paper, watercolor paper, and acrylic paper. I'm actually using the oil paper because it's thicker than the other papers, but you can use whatever paper you have. It's just $1, and I cut that down, and I'm going to use the smooth side in this one. Then you're going to need a stamp. We're going to use this stamp because it has a bunch of sentiments. You're going to keep seeing this one stamp. If I can find it on AliExpress, I'll link it below. It's an acrylic block. You're going to need some ink. I'm using the Umbrella Craft ink, but whatever ink you have, you can use. Just a nice black ink. Of course, acrylic block. The main show is going to be some watercolors. These are from Michael's for $5, but whatever watercolors you have on hand or markers, or play some with some more techniques. But this is the first one I'm going to show you. I'm trying to keep most on the budget and very simple, easy card that you can put together in seconds. And the last thing you're going to need is a paint marker, and this is from Dollar Tree too. Let's get started. First thing you're going to do is you're going to choose your color palette, whatever color palette you want to do. And my example card here, I use a very cool tone background, sorry for any shaking, using mostly purples and blues. You can use a brighter background, maybe you can use yellows and oranges, so I'll show you that today. Or you can keep it pinks, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to pre-wet some of the colors that I might want to use. And I'm going to use a little brush. Everything's knocking over, guys. I'm using a round brush. I'm going to go in here, make sure the colors are all wet and brush is wet, and I'm going to do little circles. I have no stencil. I'm just going to do rough circles, and I'm going to move the color around and everything. Make big circles, make small ones, have some fall off the edge of the page. Doesn't really matter what you do or where it goes. I just don't want to be too close together, so I'm going to keep moving my brush around and making sure they're separated. See? And have some fall off. Once that's over, I think I've done that one. I'm gonna move on to my next color. So rinse my brush off and we'll move on to the next color we're gonna use. Let's do a lighter orange. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go over here because I splattered some water on my paper. I said I'm using the smoother side of my paper, but I did use the rough side the first time. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna do that part here. We'll go right here. Maybe right here. I might do a small one here. These don't have to be complete circles. We're just having fun with it. You can literally just throw this together within seconds. So a nice budget friendly cheap card. And of course if you have like some watercolor paper from, I don't know, Michael's or whatever, or more expensive, it doesn't really matter, cheaper, I'm just trying to get this cool effect. And okay, add more colors. Let's do a yellow. Bring in a yellow in here. I feel it's like really orange, you know. So let's do yellow. And you can always correct your shape if you feel it's not close enough to a circle for you. And move it around. And you can do these with more expensive watercolors if you have them. Doesn't really matter either. We're just trying to do a quick card. Okay, you have a couple seconds, a couple minutes to make a card real quick. I already have a lot of white space, so I'm going to get my last orange color over here. Can you see that one? My water bottle is in the way. So my last, the lightest orange color I have here, it's not yellow. I'm just going to do little dots, little small dots on my paper. Tying in the pattern that I'm creating. So we're basically essentially creating our own pattern paper for fun. And you get a nice cool watercolor technique, which is very in, still is, and you handmade it. So once that's all done, what you're gonna need is dry it. So you can either, if you have a tool, you can use a blow dryer and dry this real quick. So alright, once your palette, your panel is all dried, you have two options. You can move on to the next step and skip this, but if you're me and you want to do what I did, we're going to draw black lines around your circles. You can do the smaller ones, we'll experiment. So this pen I have, this is a Jot pen, and this is actually from Dollar Tree. And I have to shake it before I use it. Make sure it's still running. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera. I'm just going to simply go over and do circles. Now I'm actually not going to do perfect circles, so I'm going to get some white area around here and just do it that way. See that? Not a perfect circle. I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to have fun. Maybe it's a little bit off. Maybe some color showing. Maybe I get it perfect. Maybe it has more white area than color. And you're going to just keep doing this. No pressure. Release your mind. And if I'm shaking the camera, sorry, it's hard to get used to this. Okay, wiping my pen off just in case I get any friction. These colors are a little bit chalky, so sometimes my pen makes a little bit of noise, and sometimes I might have a little bit of issue. Okay. Making sure my paint is still going. Sorry about shaking. If you see it. Okay. That's your paper. Now if you want to, you can go over and do these small circles too. If you want to, and get smaller circles like those, smaller circles. I'm just not going to really bother, and I might do a couple more to make it seem like I just did some and didn't do others, and it's part of the pattern. Alright, beautiful, awesome. If you want to, you could outline with this with the white gel pen, or you could do a gold one. It doesn't really matter. Now, paper that you get, if you have the one I have, and you had to cut it down. So the paper I use is 5x7. This oil paper, so I had to cut it down, so I had some scrap pieces left over, so I'm going to use those pieces to stamp my sentiment on. You can do the smooth side or the rough side, doesn't really matter. We're going to just use the same sentiment I used last time, and we're going to use the one that says happy birthday. It's a pretty big sentiment, so I'm going to put it over here. You can put it in the middle, it doesn't really matter, it's up to you. I do middle. I'm going to use some black ink, and I'm going to stamp this baby. Of course, always bring your stamp to your ink pad to your stamp. So let's see if I can carefully do this without shaking the camera too much. We'll see how this works. We're getting there. What side am I on? Let's do smooth side. And I'm going to sit there, give it even pressure, and let it sit for a bit. Cool, looks fine enough for me. If you have any imperfections with yours, you can always get a pen and write over it. Alright, if you wanted to, you can make this a banner. So what you do to make that a banner, if you wanted to, is I normally try to cut in the middle and then go and connect from the outer corner to where I cut to get myself a nice banner. And then from the middle I go out. And to get yourself a nice little banner. I'm not going to be really precise in this part. I'm just going to speed it up. If we wanted a banner, doesn't really matter. Now you're going to pick your cardstock. You can use white or you can use off color. A gray. Doesn't really matter for you. We'll just do white for this one because it is gray. Then we're going to glue this down. You can use whatever adhesive you have. Stick adhesive, wet adhesive. It doesn't matter. You can use a glue gun. I'm going to do this off camera. Just put some adhesive on it real quick because my thing will shake the camera a lot. And we're going to try our best to get this thing even in the middle, but I'm not really precise. And then if you want to put it here. Now what you can do, if you want to make sure it pops a little bit, you can put it on foam. If you have some foam, alright, so if you want to, if you have some foam, you can use some foam. This is foam at Dollar Tree. And you can pop this up if you want to, or you can lay it flat. If you want to make sure it stays a little more distinguished, you can always ink the edges with your ink pad. I'm going to do that with mine. I'm using one of my homemade ink dowers, but that's not required. I used to always just get the ink pad and just drag it. So I'm just going to do a very faint ink, and then I'm going to glue this. And I'm going to pop mine up with some foam. So therefore you can get foam at Dollar Tree or Walmart. You can even go to the craft stores and get a big sheet for like 80, like less than 80 cents. It's really cheap for foam. And that's what I normally use a lot of times because it's really easy to get. So make sure I have this right. And then it's going to center this. Either you can do the middle if you want to. So either you're going to do the middle, you can do lower, middle, higher. I like doing mine kind of towards the bottom. I think they look cooler. So I'm just go as low as I can go. It might have been straight. I don't think it is, but it's okay. So that's my card. Very simple, very easy. And then you saw you can do your sentiment. So you can do happy birthday, and then you can just sit here and quickly write in your car while you're driving to the birthday party. You know, Becca, love you so much. You're the best. And you can do some hearts. And if you want to, you can do a wash in your page with your watercolor and a similar color scheme using 1 or 2 colors, and do a wash of color inside. It's up to you guys, but I wanted to give you some inspiration on how to make a card, and hope you enjoyed the video and liked it. And I would love to see your cards. Of course, my Instagram is always linked below. If you make this card and you got inspired, please tag me in a post and let me see what you guys made. I would love to see it. And much love, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Get crafty.